All right, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream, which is a conjunction between streamer analysis and streamer parents. I'm your hostess, Alexandra Mayers, and this early afternoon, late morning, I'm doing a little bit of an analysis of the chat when it comes to a live streamer who I've gotten to know quite well, who I may have inadvertently e-dated without realizing it for the past few years, someone known as Tommy James. And we're not going to talk about Tommy right now. What we are going to talk about are the various incredibly sadistic, incredibly disgusting, and incredibly sick, possibly satanic people in his chat who are essentially trying to push him over the edge. I suppose that they don't think that anyone's documenting this or anyone's watching, but it's all being documented. And a lot of the people in these chats, we have your government IDs. But what's interesting is that you have a lot of parents who are in the chat, who are the parents of sons and daughters who one day will be 18 plus and who most likely will end up in a similar situation to Tommy due to their parents. You know, the problem when it comes to drug addiction, the kind of demon that Tommy is contending with right now, is that it does tend to be something that's passed down through genetics. It's hereditary. Most likely, one or both of Tommy's parents have abuse issues. Most likely, one, if not all of his grandparents do. And Tommy is just the result of years of unaddressed issues. And a lot of people inherit all kinds of demons and issues through the generations, not just substance abuse. Sometimes people are predisposed into going into dysfunctional bad relationships because of what they witness their parents contend with, or maybe what they don't even know their parents contend it with. Um, Sometimes people go into a life of crime because they're genetically predisposed to do so. But there's a lot of people in this chat of Tommy James who they don't really seem to understand that karma is a real thing. Someone known as chicken snakes or chicken cakes. She's a piss poor mother. Absolutely. Very, very neglectful and abusive mother to her son. Her son most likely will share a similar fate to what Tommy is contending with right now, but it's probably going to be worse. Because when it comes to chicken snakes or chicken cakes, she's the type of mom who, the moment her son starts acting like Tommy, she's going to disown him because she doesn't like anything to reflect badly upon her, especially not publicly. But as many of you know, chicken cakes or chicken snakes has extreme substance abuse issues, complete sociopath, possibly a psychopath, addicted to the internet as well. So her child doesn't have a prayer, which is why it's interesting that she's in this chat saying some horrific things, which have all been screen capped and will be extensively documented when it comes to the Tommy James situation. Now, who else do we see in here who's a parent or that's a parent? Well, the horrific mother known as Bobby Dillon, who has suffered from extreme substance abuse issues, health issues, definitely comes from a family of criminals. So it's everything bad you can think of in her genetically. And then she had a child with someone who's a documented criminal and who suffers from mental illness. Now, Bobby herself, of course, suffers from an extreme level of mental illness. Very dangerous person. Carries a gun, shouldn't have access to a firearm, truthfully, no. But unfortunately, her child most likely will not beat the odds. Her child will most likely end up pretty similar to Tommy James. But unlike Tommy, her child most likely will not make it due to the inherited genetic defects that she embodies from her mother. I would go as far as to say that her kid won't make it beyond the teen years, which is sad. Very sad. But there's a lot of parents I'm seeing in this chat. I'm not going to name them all because I don't want certain people to know that I know their names just yet. Mm-mm. Not at all. But we're going to document what they do, and we're going to document all of it on a URL that I am in possession of, known as musicbizmarty.com. That's where we're going to do it. That's going to become a wiki, a very extensive wiki database. The community that I decided to go ahead and let that channel just sit and rest in regards to, which is the root of this channel. That particular wiki database will never be publicly accessible again. But it is time for a new one when it comes to a certain type of monster within these communities. And for some reason, all those monsters did revolve around that Music Biz Marty guy. So I think that it's appropriate for that to be his online legacy. Because he really was a piece of garbage, wasn't he? Yeah. So what else? What else? Hmm. Well, I've had a lot of people ask me whether or not I'm willing to take in Tommy James again. I am. There would have to be some boundaries and ground rules. And I'd also have to have a long conversation with his mother in person. But it's something I would be willing to do because I'm good with him and I'm enough in his subconscious to where I can't say I could fix him, but I could definitely shift him in a better direction. And this time around, I'm more mentally prepared than before. So that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and get going. We'll do updates on him over here. There's a few people in the chat who I think could actually help me if he decides to let me help him. I would say Eric AF 187 would be helpful, and a woman known as The Kate Show would be helpful. There's some people who we're probably going to have to encourage Tommy to file legalities against. And I'm making a list because there's some people who are without a doubt trying to push him over the edge completely. I've never seen anything quite like this because so many of these people presented themselves to him as his friend. For a long time, there were people saying that there's a sort of a death cult connected to certain communities. I completely agree. And the people involved do need to be brought to justice, be it legal justice or divine justice. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get going. Take care. Have a good day. Bye bye.